Yeah, that's okay. Right. Okay, thank you for having me today. It's great to support our march today and to show the people of Cardiff what it means to have solidarity, not just amongst your own fellow workers, but all workers across the industry. So it's great to be here. Now, I stand here today in solidarity with all of you who are fighting the government or your employers' imposed pay cuts. From railway workers, junior doctors and civil servants and many other essential workers are on strike in the UK because they know their fight is not just about their own wages, but about the future of workers' rights in this country. And I'm proud to see that the public is backing the strikers because they can see how utterly contemptuous the Conservative government's response has been. And I want to take a moment to praise the postal workers who will soon ballot on their proposed deal, and congratulate the BT strikers who won their dispute after 8 days of action. Their determination and resilience in the face of adversity should inspire us all. And your fight is our fight, and we will stand by your side until we all achieve victory. And this is why being in a union is so important. Our power lies in our numbers, and we must use that power to fight for better wages, better working conditions, and a better future for workers. We must talk about unions and spread the messages, not just to each other, but to our friends and our families. Only then can we bring real change to our workplaces and our communities. But we must recognise that we are not just fighting against employers that don't care about working people. We are fighting against a system that is designed to keep us down. The decay and entropy of the UK, exacerbated by the disastrous Brexit vote, has left us in a situation where our working conditions, wages and dignity are under attack. This coordinated attack on workers' rights was not accidental, but a deliberate attempt to keep us in a position of subservience to the wealthy elites who control the corporations and own this Conservative government. But it's important to remember that the struggle of workers is not a new one. Throughout history, workers have come together to fight for their rights and dignity. Take a moment to reflect on some of the historic trade union victories that have been achieved in the UK. From the repeal of the Combination Acts, the legislation legalising unions, the formation of the Labour Party, the 1945 Labour government that introduced the National Health Service, the social welfare system, and the Equality Pay Act, which made it illegal to pay men and women differently for the same work. The Health and Safety at Work Act 1974, requiring employers to provide safe working conditions for their employees. And last but not least, after 100 years of campaigning, the introduction of the minimum wage in 1999. Trade unions have played a vital role in securing the rights and dignity of working people on the picket line and in the ballot box. And the sacrifices made by those who came before us, who fought and died for the right of collective bargaining, decent wages and safe working conditions. We stand on their shoulders, and it's our responsibility to continue the fight for the next generation of workers. And we must also recognise the decline in our politics in recent years. The government wants to distract and divide us with culture wars and racism, instead criminalising refugees rather than addressing the corporation and immorality that pervades their own ranks. We must hold this Conservative government accountable for their actions and demand better, and no longer should we suffer the consequences of their plunder. The sacrifices that people made during the COVID pandemic cannot be forgotten. Many died protecting others, while Boris Johnson said, "Let the bodies pile high." Now these same people are being left to become impoverished, struggling to make ends meet and to support their family. Would you be willing to make the same effort again with these people in charge? Would you? We must demand better for ourselves and for our citizens. And the Tory press want you to ignore the failure of recent governments. Cameron, May, Boris and Truss all failed to prioritise the needs of working people. Instead, they pursue policies that benefit the wealthy and the corporations at the expense of you and your family.
These policies have led to an increase in inequality, a decline in living standards, and a loss of faith in the democratic process. And now we have Rich Sunak, a multi-millionaire who boasts about not having working class friends, as our Prime Minister. How can he possibly act in the interests of people when he doesn't even hear our struggles? The answer is simple: he can't. Sunak and his Tory friends don't care about the struggles of working people. They only care about their own vested interests and the accumulation of wealth. And we must ensure that working people never forget that. That's why it's so important that we campaign for a change of government at the next general election and support the Labour Party, however difficult that may be for some. We've got to stick together in work, and we must stick together at the ballot box. And we need to show the next government that we want them to prioritise the needs of working people and not the interests of the wealthy elite. In the words of Tony Benn, we are not here to manage capitalism, but to change society and define its finer values. So let's stand in solidarity and continue to fight for a better future. Let's demand a government that hears our voices and prioritises the needs of working people over the wealthy elite. And let's stick together at the workplace in our disputes. And always remember to never surrender and never give up. Thank you.